What's up, everybody? I'm Conrad Carr. I'm a creature of surf and walking with the homeless people from out here in Malibu. I'm 26 years old. Great meeting you guys.
Yeah.
Psyched on Talon.
Yeah.
Psyched on all the other creatures out there.
Yeah.
Let's live our stories, live our best lives, and be creatures.
When did you first get into surfboarding?
Surfboarding when I was 11. I got on Quicksilver when I was 13, rode for them till I was 19. Then I went on a 2-year Mormon mission to Siberia, and then that kind of put a stop to my whole surfing thing. It was the most crazy experience of my life. And then I came home, 21, and I cruised around figuring out my stuff. I went to Hawaii, did school out there. I was surfing again, not like semi-professionally at all, but cruising, and graduated from school. And then I kind of partied for a year, and then I was like, that's not really fulfilling. And so I started writing movie scripts, which is still what I love to do, writing movies. So I was doing that for like 6 months. I locked myself in my room, was writing movies. And then that kind of led to some odd adventures. I've had some great adventures with some great people. Rick Solomon, he's a legend. I worked for him for a bit. And then I was going to New York surfing, and then I walked from New York to Florida for the hurricane animals. Rick bet me, made some money, and saved a bunch of animals. That was a great time, and that was when I started realizing I met a bunch of hobos on the way. From New York to Florida, it took 58 days, 1,100 miles. It was madness. I got shot at, I got robbed. It was the craziest time ever.
With the homeless people, are you seeing that going down a direction of you want to tell their stories in like a biography form, or like a, what do you?
The homeless thing, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to take shape, but I'm thinking some sort of show is going to come around it. I'm working with some pretty cool people on making a show, and what it'll probably look like a sort of Vice thing where it's really just raw, real, and it's just me and maybe my buddy. We just go out and capture the lives of these people, just interview them. I ask them, what's your story? What's the meaning of life? What's life like out here on the streets? What's the reality, the nitty-gritty of living, sleeping, the night? What happens when the day turns to night? It must be pretty real. And the answers to those questions are always pretty wild. They were these normal people living normal lives, and then one thing led to another, whether it was a car accident, then they get addicted to like fentanyl or Percocets, and then they're like, oh man, I'm running out of money and the doctor's not giving me anymore. I'm gonna go to like the street, and then they get accustomed to like the street and the way of like dealing with the street dealers, and then sooner or later they're not gonna pay for their rent, they're gonna pay for heroin, and then next thing you know, they're on the street. They're like, oh, I'll be on the street for a week, I'll be okay. And it's always a fine line. It's not like, obviously it's not like this thing where I'm gonna go be homeless, or now I'm homeless. It's obviously it's a slow trickle down to being homeless, and so it's just so cool hearing their stories.
So you said something that caught my attention earlier. You were talking about, you got done with school and mission and all that stuff, and you just started partying. Yeah. And you said that wasn't fulfilling.
Wasn't fulfilling at all.
So then, does that mean that you're looking for something that's fulfilling, or have you found somewhat of a purpose in your life right now?
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't know if it'll last forever. I'm a seeker. I've always observed and sought out meaning in life, and that's, I think, why I went on my mission to Russia. I wanted to see God. I wanted to help and serve other people, and because that's, I think, a basic principle. When you help others, you find yourself.
There been like a particular failure, like a favorite failure of yours that's actually taught you more about yourself and put you in almost been like a 180-degree turn in your life?
Definitely. My favorite failure was my walk from San Fran to San Diego, for sure. Because by all means it was a failure, by means of like, did it get press and people donating to the cause? No. Did I make any money or anything from it? No. Did I come out of it physically stronger? No, I was like eating bad, it was rough. But then afterwards, so much good's come out of it because one, I had that gnawing feeling of like, what do I do now? Do I go on more walks? I need to figure out what's my next adventure. And so I went on that walk, and now it's like, no, right now, a walk hopefully will come again one day, but right now it's not the walk. Two, on that walk, I met and connected with some homeless people, and that was where I found meaning. But I will say, when you look back on failure and then you compare it with regret, you always regret the things you didn't do. You're never gonna regret the thing you did do. Like the walk California, do I regret that I did it? No. If I could have learned what I learned without doing it, yeah, sure, I wouldn't have gone, but I probably wouldn't have learned what I learned. And so no, I don't regret it. I just regret the things I haven't done. At any given moment in life, pressed with a decision, the best decision's the right decision, second best decision's the wrong decision, worst decision's no decision at all. Inaction, it's all about activity.
So when you get out there on the surfboard, just to kind of go back to surfing for a second, what do you think that feeling is when you're catching a wave? What does it feel like?
Flow state. It's the flow state. It's when you're just getting in the zone. Catching a wave is the greatest thing ever because the ocean, it's a flow of energy coming in, and then you catching it, it's just a beautiful experience. It's unlike any other sport because it's so variable, it's so different, and it's just so magical to be where the land meets the ocean.
I don't want to mean to sound morbid, but say that we're at Conrad's funeral. What do you want the lasting impression or your legacy to be like if you're there?
I want my legacy to be Conrad inspired people to do good, to be themselves, to live their best life, to follow their heart. I'd say that and whatever branches out of that.
Yeah.
Whatever I've hopefully inspired some people to do.
Do you have any advice for people that are trying to follow their daydreams, as we call it?
There's a great quote, I'm not what I think I am, I'm not what you think I am, I'm what I think you think I am. And so, this is Jay Shetty shit. We all live in these perceptions of perceptions. And so if you can really step back and be conscious of what you want and what you want to do and what you're good at, then you'll start to find that, wow, I've been living in this echo chamber of these people. That's not who I am. That's not what I want to do. I like doing this. Obviously, toxic people aren't good in your life.
Of course.
But this cool thing I just heard, which I thought super interesting, is ambivalent people. And those are the people where you're not sure, like, do they like you? Do they support you? Are they happy for you? And to give you an example of that, that's when you go up to someone and you say something like, and maybe it's someone you haven't seen in a while, and you say something like, hey, I'm working, like, they're like, what have you been up to? And you're like, oh, I'm working on this show. I'm gonna try and be an actor. And like, oh, you're an actor now. They'll say something like that where you're like, huh.
Yeah.
Well, really, you should be probably saying, just be like, oh, fuck this guy. When you put your heart out on the line with that, you know, the answer should be like, oh, hell yeah, brother, good for you, man, go for it.
Right.
I support that, that's amazing. The old answer is like, oh, you've changed, and that one hurts. But I think it's getting a little more subtle than that. And so I look for that. And I mean, that's what I work on now, is just being conscious and observing, like, why I do the things I do, what do I want to do, what's going to give me meaning and help others.
Everybody, thank you so much, Conrad Carr.
Love talking to you guys.
Yeah, this dude's got a great heart. We're gonna definitely keep up with his journey, and we'll link up definitely this winter, get some gear on some of his friends, and yeah.
Yeah, let the creatures roam.